Hey guys, I want to share with you today, it's been a couple weeks since I've done any toy photography video. I've been busy doing some stuff for customers that, pays bills and buys gear. And so at any rate, that being said, I wanted to share with you, I got this really cool figure. It's a Mcfarlane Toys figure, and it's from We Happy Few. I always want to say We Happy People, but it's We Happy Few. I didn't know that this was from a video game until my son actually enlightened me. And I don't even care that it's from a video game. I just like the way the toy looked. The figure looked really nice, kind of eerie, kind of, in my whole theme of what I like to photograph. And I can appreciate the gas mask and the little different things that he comes with. And so, that being said, I set up, in this video, I'm going to set up some diorama panels that I created and some lights, some loom cubes and fog machines and stuff like that. And I'm just going to walk you through and let you guys see how I photographed this toy. Here's an image here. Here's an image here. And, I can never wait to the end of the video to share my images. So anyway, stick around to the end so you can see how I got them. But, and if you haven't done so, like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. All the interaction, the comments, the views. I really appreciate all that. Hopefully you can get something out of this video that helps you with your toy photography and helps motivate you to try some new things. Because that's what it's about. Getting outside of your comfort zone, pushing your creative boundaries, trying new things, screwing up, knocking stuff over, things like that. And, that being said, if you haven't done so already, go over to my website, insightfulimagery.com. Check out all the really cool things I have. Prints and t-shirts and shoes and handbags and cool stuff with images of toys and with images not of toys, because I do both. But I really like the toy stuff. Follow me on Instagram, insightful_imagery. Like and subscribe to my channel here. And let's go ahead and watch me take some photos. Hey, so here I'm just getting out my diorama pieces. These are pieces that I've created over time and I use in different toy photography scenes. And I just light them different ways or add different effects to make them look, different. And they're modular. And so that's one thing about my diorama pieces that I like, is I can mix and match them and create different textures and scenes and different, visual displays. I'm not, bound to one whole diorama to shoot in. I can take these pieces and mix and match them, and I like that. I need to make more. Just sometimes I don't feel like I have enough. But that stone wall in the back, credit to Black Magic Craft, I think is the name of the channel, who I seen how to make a brick wall like that. Man, it's an incredible technique. It's really fun, really time consuming. But if you can get over there, he makes Dungeons and Dragons terrains and stuff. Excellent channel. But anyway, here I'm setting my pieces up. I'm just kind of getting, an idea in my mind that I have of an alleyway with, a couple different layers of texture in there. You might not see all of it in the frame, but it's there if I want to shoot from different sides, or, different angles. But I know that you're going to see the back wall, and I know you're going to see the wall on the right with the window. And I may change some of this up as I shoot. I just try to keep it kind of loose with a basic idea, and I don't lock myself into a whole lot, And here I usually have a pin cushion with a bunch of stick pins that I can secure all this stuff to each other, but I don't know where it went. I think I lost it. So now I'm using a paper towel roll to hold up the wall. Anyway, whatever works, right? As long as it stays up. So, here I changed the GoPro angle so that you can see what the alleyway is starting to look like. And I'm just trying to shape up this scene. And it helps me by putting the character inside there and kind of giving him a rough little loose pose. And, kind of get my brain focused on where we're going with all this. And, and that's what I do. It helps me visually, stay on track, because I get sidetracked easy, But I really like this character, man. He's just incredibly full of detail, and I really like him. He stands really well. So here I'm just out of frame. I'm grabbing a couple lume cubes. I'm going to use these to light through the windows here, and I'm just finding something to elevate them. You know, a dollhouse table or, you know, something like that. Paint bottle. I usually have some acrylic square fake ice cubes that are pretty large that I'll use oftentimes, but here I'm gonna use these paint bottles because they're a little taller, get me a little more elevation. And ultimately this one on the left, this lume cube, I end up taking it out later because I don't think that it really adds to the scene in any real significant way, so I take it out. But that being said, you know, for now I have it here. I'm going to grab these gels and I'm going to grab a razor and cut them in half, and I want some orange light to shine through these windows. And if you've seen any of my other images, you'll see that I try to create layers of lighting, and it creates depth when I can use different color temps and have different light sources in the image, whether, you know, you're doing it with gels or you're using a bare bulb tungsten, you know, as a light source. I try to create different layers of light color temps in the images, and that helps build some depth in the image. I get a lot of comments on that. Oh, how do you get all these, you know, lighting effects? The lights look so cool. You got a red light in the door and a blue light outside, and that's achieved, you know, through gels or just using different color temp bare bulb lights. You know, like these lume cubes are blue on their own, and you can use them like that and get some nice blue color if you want, or you can put gels on them and create something else. So here I'm just taping them up with some low-tack tape to the foam pieces, and I'm rambling around trying to find something. I'm not sure what. Yeah, some support. Whatever works, you know. I used a glue bottle just to put behind that stone wall in the back to hold it up. Now I'm moving my Explorer 600 light over here. It's on a C-stand with a snoot. This is going to be my main light. I'm going to shoot the top of I'm going to light this character from overhead. And I've got a grid in there, and I'm just adjusting this C-stand to get in a position that, you know, I like. I start out with it directly overhead. Later you'll see I'll change that because I'm just really picky and I didn't like the way that this was looking, so I adjust it later. But for now it's overhead. I've got a blue gel. My thinking is I'm going to go ahead and put this blue gel inside there and sort of create a nighttime in the alleyway, moonlit kind of feel. And I'm just putting that gel in there, and I'm adding a little low-tack tape so that none of it falls out onto the scene in case it loosens up somehow by me moving it or whatever, and I don't want to damage the scene that I've already set up. And you can see how the blue tape is on that snoot. That end fits onto the tip of the snoot, and it holds the gel or a grid, whatever you want to put in there. And so now I'm just rearranging my back wall a little bit, making sure it's on there, and actually there's a little space between the back wall and the side walls in order for the fog machine that I'm bringing out to be able to get some fog into the scene. So there's a little gap back there where the fog can flow through. And of course the cord isn't long enough. I set the table too far forward, so I can't get the damn cord in there. Oh, the struggle. It's always something. So anyway, I'll get an extension cord. But right now what I want to do is devise a way to bring these tungsten lights, these dollar store string lights, out over into the brick wall, or hanging over the brick stone wall in the back. So I just grab a light stand and a wooden dowel and a clamp, and I just sort of make a boom arm, makeshift boom arm out of it. These lights aren't heavy, so I don't need it to hold real strong. If I needed it to be stronger, I could throw a little duct tape or something on there. But for now, I undo this pesky wire tie that I have on there, and once I get done with that, I'm going to string them out over the top of, or I'm going to wrap them around that wooden dowel and hang them just, you know, against the back wall over that back piece of foam. You'll see here. Here we go. I just wrap a few of them. I don't want them all out there. And you're going to see later I'm going to put a black cloth over this because I want to control the light spill. I don't want all that light lighting up my room because I'm going to do like a 4, 6 or 8 second exposure, and all that light shining from these will change my scene. And so you'll see I'll put a cloth over those later, and I'll flag it with a piece of black foam core. But for now anyway, they're on the wooden dowel. There's a couple hanging down over that stone wall in the back, and you know, you can see how much they light up the room if they're not controlled. Now I've got my blue gel on over the figure. I'm just going to feather the light on the edge of him. I don't want the whole beam of light on him, just to feather the light on the subject, because I don't want the whole direct beam of blue light right over top of him. So feathering it by moving it a little more backward helps with that. Here I'm turning on my lume cubes. I'm going to start getting the lighting set up on the side. I've already got the overhead light set up that I want. I've already got the backlight set up that I want. Now we're just going to go ahead and do these side lightings. And you can see what I'm talking about by creating lighting layers, and that's what I'm doing. I've got something to the far back, I've got something overhead, and I've got something to the sides. Here I'm just using my phone and opening the Lume Cube app and adjusting the brightness of the Lume Cubes individually until I get a brightness value that I want on, you know, each side of the set. And it's called Mission Control inside the Lume Cube app, and you can access all the sliders and features of the Lume Cubes. I do like that feature. I do find that it's quirky sometimes, and it'll say that I have no power left. The battery is like dead, but it's not, and I'll have to turn it off and turn it back on. It's kind of weird sometimes, and sometimes they get really stinking hot. I don't know why they need to get so hot, but anyway, I do like the Lume Cubes, and I do like the features that they offer. Here I'm going to turn the modeling light off on my overhead light and make sure everything's on the same channel and stuff like that, and grab something out of my bag. I'm not sure what I'm grabbing right there, but anyway. So we're going to go sit over here behind the camera and just kind of tighten everything up, make sure that my compositions get right, my camera height is where I want it to be, my focus, you know, that I'm on manual focus, and I think that's what I did. I flipped the switch to manual focus because that's how I focus. I focus in live view on there and get everything dialed in like I want. And I'll fidget with it for a couple minutes, making sure that everything's in the right, you know, right place, so that I get the best composition that I think I can get. And move the GoPro. That way you can see better what I'm doing. So anyway, we're going to go over here, and I found that looking through the viewfinder, these lights were throwing off a lot of ambient light outside the scene and inside the scene. So I put a flag on there, and what that does is allows light only from those two lights falling. Those two lights under the foam cord are lighting the set instead of all the lights above it. And I put a black cloth over the top of that to minimize the light spill also. And so that's what I'm doing here. I'm just adjusting that, and I want the light from two lights in the scene, but I don't want the two light sources visible in the scene. So I'm just taping those lights to the back of the wall back there to get them out of the frame. So now that I've got the light spill controlled, you know, it looks good through the viewfinder. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to grab my little box of goodies, and I've got some supporting little props I can put in here, like some little bags of trash, an empty soda cup and stuff like that. Just some more things to visually fill the scene out and, you know, make it look a little more exciting, other than just a guy standing in an alley with some light shining on him, which would be cool too, but you know, the few more supporting props help sell the image. So real briefly to go over the scene while I'm letting the fog machine warm up. Okay, I've got a black piece of foam core up here in order to control the Christmas lights. I don't want too much of the orange light falling down on the scene. That's what I was trying to fix earlier was trying to control the amount of orange light hitting the back wall. I covered it with a black curtain, then I also put a black piece of foam core over the top and only let 3 lights fall down into the back wall. Okay, 1 on the back wall in frame and the other 2 are just above, just out of frame, still giving me light but not creating you know, multiple light sources on the wall in the frame. So then I went ahead and added a little trash in there. I took 1 light out of this window here because I just didn't think it was doing it wasn't adding anything to the scene. The one back here is the Lume Cube right here is illuminating the trash and giving a little spot of light behind the soldier, or the Bobby is what they call him in the video game. He's standing there. He's got his baton in his hand. I was also controlling the catch light in his eye. I was adjusting my snoot, my overhead light. You know, I was adjusting it so that the catch light wouldn't be so direct center in his eye, because I didn't like that look when I was reviewing it in the camera. So I adjusted that, added some rubbish, took a light out, put a flag up here to control these the light spill of the tungsten Christmas lights, and now I'm waiting for the fog machine to turn up, and we're set to take some pictures now. So anyway, I'll quit talking and we'll get back to doing some voiceover stuff. So here we are. You're going to see some fog coming through the back of the wall there, and if you'll notice, the fog always goes behind my character in the when I do the photography, because if you put the fog machine in the front, then you get this really hazy image, and you don't get any sharpness in the faces or anything like that. So I put the fog behind, and I'm just taking pictures here where the fog is first being shot onto the scene, and then taking images where the fog is dissipating, and I'm just taking a bunch of images here to make sure that I can find one that I like where the fog looks good. That's all there is to it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you watching.